Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Talkies. Can we do it again? Sorry, like someone just one more time.
Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which is it's bored, it's curious, it's disgusted, it's confused, but at the end of the day, also mildly sweet. We'll talk about it. Hi.
Hi! So today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 8. Couldn't find the title of it. So we'll add it in later. You know what you've just watched. Um, I liked this episode. I really liked some of the throwaway comments that our friend Jasmine made. I like when she's being honest and vulnerable with Gino. I don't know why I can't get that man's name. It is a mystery to me. And so yeah, let's what did you think of the episode?
I also liked it. I really enjoy Patrick and Thais this season so much. Like I'm really enjoying both of their personalities, the way they interact with each other, like the little family they've created. It's interesting because like season to season of people on the show, they can feel very different. And definitely Gino and Jasmine have felt very different from season to season. But sometimes people get better and sometimes people get worse. Sometimes people say the exact same. So like for instance, Gino and Jasmine have tried to resurrect themselves and like not being the most toxic people of all time. Patrick and Thais are like now a golden couple, and Sophie and Rob have maintained the exact level of mediocrity and meh, where I'm just like, I can't believe they're on the show. But
Mm-hmm.
who do you
Mm-hmm.
want to start with?
Speaking of Sophie and Rob, Miona and Jabri, they're broken up
Oh, I know.
officially.
And she's with that guy that works for the Oprah's channel.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she can't have she's
Yeah, so she's moved on to the next black man. Okay, so you
this
know what?
yeah,
Let's just
this one is a successful entertainment personality.
oh wow. Good for her. I mean, the American dream, no?
Not just like some
Yeah.
weird, remember like his weird band with the astronaut and stuff? Like, do you think that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like her new boyfriend makes her watch the first season and it's just like clowns her. It's like
I mean, she's gonna be like, "Whoa, he's the first black man. There's not many black men in Yugoslavia, and he's the first one,
Serbia.
so I jumped on him." And yes, Yugoslavia, Serbia, mm. Austria. Just kidding. Okay, let's talk about the mediocrity of Rob and Sophie, and let's just talk about how hateful Claire is.
Hmm.
She is hateful and a bad friend mom. She's a bad mom friend. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
Um, yeah. It's like we talked about last episode when parents or no, the Love After Lockup episode where we talked about when parents bring you into that like friend space. And Claire obviously has made many a mistake in her life,
Hmm.
including those eyelashes, whatever she's done to her face, her teeth,
Hmm.
falling out from drugs. But like
Lips.
yeah, it's all a series of mistakes. So we start out this episode with they're at a flea market and Sophie's like, I've never been to a flea market. And Rob tries to make her sound like she's too bougie to have ever been to one or heard of one. And I'm like, flea markets has nothing to do with bouge. It doesn't it doesn't
Yeah,
equate.
I was confused by this a lot. First of all, didn't we go to the Camden flea market together?
Yes.
Okay, so we went to the. I know it's like a huge. The Camden Market is like a huge ass thing. One, flea markets, unless it's like a vintage or antique, or clothes that say used. Most of the time, flea markets are not, to my knowledge, mostly vintage or mostly used items. They're mostly flea markets are, a mixture of made goods, like little crafty McCrafts, and or cheap tchotchkes. Like I feel like if you go to a flea market now, there's gonna like be a little Turkish lamp section. Like those
Mhm.
aren't used. They're just they're very cheap.
Mhm.
They just like there's imports all over the world of it. Like there's just but yeah. So
Roasted peanuts. There's roasted peanuts there. There are some spaces that have weird things like candelabras from the 20s, but it's not, this is where home decorators go to maybe find some tchotchke fun pieces. So this is not like a place where the poor would go to find items. This is a place for anyone to peddle their wares. And if you're into it, you're into it. There's some shit that's like super expensive, like antique rings or old fashioned rings that somebody may have found at an estate sale, and they're reselling for $800. And you can get like, different types of pickles. Like it's just such a different, it's just such a thing. And so I hate the narrative that Rob has a problem with her coming from money. I think it's such a stupid narrative, and it makes him look so tacky and uneducated.
Absolutely, for a variety of reasons. I don't care. I don't care. To this moment, I'll fight that she didn't. That what money did she come from? No offense. Claire's not from money, and neither is Sophie. That wig isn't from money. I'm not trying to be mean. I am not trying to be mean, but what the fuck money are you talking about? Are you talking about someone who owned a home at one point, Rob? Are you talking about an actual wealth? Because no, she didn't. I can tell by the way her mom talks. That's not a wealthy talker. I mean, that's. I hate to be whatever. There's a certain in England, you can really like judge a social economic class by a tongue, by an accent. And like Claire reads Popper. Literally, she's a flower girl, honey, and her name is Eliza. I don't know what to tell you about that. It's not someone who's rich. So that's one thing. And B, that he brings it up. Also, C, he's like, I like flea markets more than department stores or like, an actual mall. And it's like, well, if you fucking need to get a button down white collared shirt for a job, you're definitely not going to find it in a flea market. So, like, different things altogether. And yeah, it makes him look completely immature and not cultured and not of this world to make these, like, very strong to really make these strong declarations. Like, she comes from money, I don't. Such a strong declaration that's not really true in the sense of like how much better she is than you, and you harp on it. And also department stores and the flea market. But he has, really, really sweaty palms, which we know that you can get a little like Botox in there if you want. And then they happen upon, I'm sure the producers were like, thank God, a character, a new person character, someone to like enliven them with some sort of like conversation. And I feel bad for this man whose name is Doug. Doug is a life coach, shaman, crystal reader. Go ahead.
Doug is very confusing because I turned away because it was them, Sophie and Rob, on the television. And he's like, yeah, Sophie, you've never seen this. And she's like, Rob. And I like turned away to go do something. And all of a sudden I hear, you guys need some help. And I was like fully prepared to see a different visual of that person. And it was not what I thought it was going to be.
It's a
I
high
was like,
voice.
oh, we have a tenor. We have a tenor in our midst.
An
Let's
Irish tenor.
let's
Yeah.
sing a song. Let's sing
Yeah.
a song together. But let me tell you that Irish tenor, he read them boots the house down. I've never seen a read so concise from someone who just met you because you were looking at, I don't know, braided necklaces and
Crystals.
crystals and shit. Like I was like, whoa, what a read. What a read. I mean, he's like, yeah, they shouldn't be together. They need to learn how to communicate because that's really important. And if they need help, I can help them. And we're like, no, you need to help yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, buddy.
But
I mean,
insightful.
yeah, he wants to go and do like a whole, I don't know, do shrooms with them, honey, and like sage them all down, but nothing's gonna help them. But I mean,
Mm-mm.
I also Doug is such a great name for this kind of person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the person's voice was different. The person's many different spiritual professions different, and the name alone just like filled me with glee. So basically, she whatever, it's dumb. I mean, they're not going to pay for this. They have no money to buy this amethyst. They're just wasting this man's time.
Yeah.
And then they go home, and then basically, then she gets to have a conversation with her mom. And I wrote this down. I don't know if this is exactly what she said, but basically, this is like such a dumb story. I was like, it's like, will you tell? I mean, it's like she's on the bed. She feels they like call. Okay, you tell the story. It's a convoluted.
Okay, I'll tell the story. Chris is so upset, you guys. If you could see her face, like she's mad about even having to like possibly talk. She's like, "Ugh." Okay. So what happens is they're filming And all of a sudden a phone goes off that is attached to a Bluetooth. It can't be any, I mean, it can be the crew's, but the crew is like, no, it's not us. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. And Sophie's like, that's weird, what's happening, why is there a phone, answer your phone, it's vibrating. And so the phone does not get answered. It goes to voicemail on the Bluetooth. Everyone can hear it. It's like, where is the speaker? Why is it on? What was it playing prior to? Like, how do they not know what's attached to it? Like, somebody figure it out. Now, she's telling this story, Sophie, to her mother. She's like, I think there's another phone in this house. That's something that's really weird. Because, you know, Claire is like, I know something's wrong, Sophie. I could tell something's wrong with you, Sophie. Tell me what's wrong. Tell mother. Tell mother what's wrong with you, Sophie. And Sophie's like, oh, nothing. Everything's okay. And she's like, I don't want to tell my mother my mom what's happening right now. And I tell my mom everything. But it's because Rob and I are really trying to work on things. And I don't want to make anything up. So she finally just tells her, well, yeah, something weird did happen, Mom. And my accent is all over the place, so I do apologize. It's just like there's another phone in the house, and we don't know who it is, and I worry. And her mother's like, it's Rob's. It's Rob's. You know, it's where he does all of his porn watching. It's Rob's. And she's like, well, I don't know that it's Rob's, Mom. Like, I don't know. And she's like, Sophie, wake up and smell the chocolate chip cookies baking in the rain next to the pie. He's cheating on you. And it's another buff tart, all of the buff bodybuilder women that he watches on his porn. Like, she just made up this whole narrative about what it could possibly be. Now, did I think that it was great and juicy? Absolutely. I really wanted Sophie to find this phone, but she didn't. And so I don't understand why they showed it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, show us the whole thing so that we can see the phone and have her go through it. Because if he has another phone, it is going to be the
best thing that happened this whole season. I know.
The best thing that's happened this whole season. So
yes.
But the way Claire is acting is like, she wants Rob to be shit so bad that she is basically trying to tear down her daughter's marriage in order to have it happen. She wants to break her daughter down and then, I guess, be there to support her. But I'm like, Claire, you were in Mexico. Like, you don't even live in the country of origin anymore. So are you going to just come live in Mexico with me and John? You can come over here and live with us, so that she can lean on and pull from Sophie even more. This woman is the most selfish woman ever. Now, Rob is not right for Sophie, but Claire is not right for Sophie either.
I completely agree. There's one part of Sophie and Rob that, if this is true, what we don't get to see is the many times in which Sophie has laid to bear, like, the actual sins of her mom to Rob, where Rob takes that in. And I think that a lot of Rob, like, trying to be nice to this woman, but it's like impossible because of how shitty he's treated a person that he loves and himself, you know. But yeah, like her, you know, Claire really needs to take a goddamn backseat and examine her life and let her daughter live, you know, now that, you know, there's a trauma-filled figure because of you walking God's green earth and dealing with relationships in the cloud of the trauma you provided for your own child as a fucked up mom. So that's on her. Don't know what to say. But one thing is, they keep calling this phone the hoe phone, the extra hoe phone. And another part of me is like, but if the narrative is that Rob has no money, who's paying for the phone? Who's paying for the extra service? It just seems like, it seems like a whole lot you got to do just to get your kicks. I mean, if that's true, then Rob definitely feels like a full-blown sex addict. But remember, along this narrative, they haven't had sex in 6 months. And for some reason, he's not talking about it, like to her, on camera, to producers, ever, which is another thing you'd think you'd talk about. So...
it's really, really just very interesting. And I love this information about him looking at buff girls in bikinis. That makes me very happy and interested, because she's like, they're just women who don't look like me. And I'm like, you're right, that would upset me too. But he's like, you guys, I'm not, like, he tries to convince the producers so hard. And it's like, no, we don't believe you, Rob. We don't believe you. Okay. Let's move on to another kooky couple. And I want to talk about Ashley and Manuel, because it was short, but it was also kind of interesting towards the beginning. The beginning part of it, they're just in this smoky den space. And Ashley is like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, she's like, I'm so sorry, Aaron. I'm sorry that we did this for you. And of course, she has like the best energy, right? So she's like, Manuel is somewhere, and she's sitting at the bar telling everybody about how awful that just was, and like kind of bearing her soul. She's like, yeah, I tell my business early because of childhood trauma of not being listened to. All right, I yell, I'm screechy, because of childhood trauma from not being listened to. And this man is like, hey, let's do this, and she's like, no. I think this man thought he was gonna like slip in and like be cute with her, and she was absolutely like, no, you're actually kind of getting on my nerves and like creeping me out in a weird way. So if you could go away, like, that'd be great. And I was like,
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be very loud about your business, and then one thing to be like, go away to someone who's like, well, you know what? I wish I could also tell you to shut up, but like, here we are. I mean, I get that she does have good energy, but at the same time, it's like, if you're going to be loud and someone offers you help, then you have to like, no, you're being a choosy beggar. You are asking for help in your voice and your tone and intention. And when you're given it, you don't want it. So I thought it was confusing, but she does find an easy out. And the easy out is suddenly, honey, everyone's against smoking. And it's like people been smoking. Like, it's not just Mahmoud, trying to find his way down Los Feliz Boulevard, but Ashley's like, give me a cigarette. Give me a cigarette. Who am I? My Carrie Bradshaw, Sex in the City? I'm smoking a goddamn cigarette in New York on the streets. You know what I'm saying? She gets Chauncey, who's like some friend that gives her one, and her friend Aaron outside. And they
fabulous.
They've been smoking Chauncey's highlighter. Did you see Chauncey's highlighter?
Highlighter. We all saw it. She was glowing. I said, yes, mama. Is that a Patrick's? What is that? Is that who is that? Is that Rihanna? What highlighter is that, mama? Like, I was here for that moment. What a fabulous moment.
It sounded like you were going to say Patrick Ta, but then you got confused with Jeffree Star. Is that what happened?
I was going to say Patrick Star, and I was like, that's not right.
Patrick Ta? And then Jeffree Star, but no one.
But there's also Patrick. Anymore. There's also another Patrick. Maybe it's not Patrick. It's also somebody else who does a lot of sparkles, but they're black. It's not Patrick. Pat McGrath. Ooh, yeah. Lord, thank you so much, Pat McGrath.
I mean, this is my bread and butter. So then basically he comes out and he goes past her down talking to the producers, and he's just basically like, if there's no trust, there's trust. And he's like playing cool guy. So then she comes over and she's like, do you know why I got upset? And he's like, I really don't. Not only do I not really care, I think it's your business. It seems like you have some trust issues before I even came in the picture with your own like past and nothing to do with me. I think I have to like work it out. And that is not what she wants to hear. Not at all.
Not at all.
So they go back to the hotel, and the next morning we get Ashley working out at that gym.
Dedication.
Again, because you've told me that she's a spin instructor, I fine if you want to show me her working out at all, but like I need to see her on that bike all the goddamn time. Like again, because I love spinning. I just want to like, I'm mad for her that she didn't get to go take a class at Soul Cycle. I'm like, oh my God, Sam Y's there, Janet's there. You could have done so many things. But basically she does that. And then she comes up to the room and she's upset because the next morning she was like sleeping and Manuel like got up, ruffled around, didn't say anything, and was just like gone for an hour. So she calls him and he's at Desayuno with his friend, right? Breakfast. So, and then she's like so upset. She's like, you can do whatever you want, but how do you not communicate with your wife? How do you not communicate with your wife? And then he comes home and is like, I'll tell you, I don't want you to come. I really just want to like be with my friend, not worry about you, not worry about your feelings or how you're going to take it. I just kind of want to be with my friend. And then she gets very upset. She's like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I'm not talking to you. Then he said, okay, I'm going to fine. I want to leave. Now this part gets interesting because he's like, give me my card. I need money. And in my mind, I'm like, whose card is that?
Yeah.
Is that your card? Mm-hmm. If you think that your card is her card, that's not your card. Now, if you have a prepaid debit card, that's your card. Now, why you don't hold it yourself, that's on you. But it is a lot to then get someone mad, especially if you know what they want and not want to like give them any love or and not acquiesce to them at all, and then ask them a favor right away. This is the last thing I'll say about this. I'm also going to defend him in this. It is a cultural thing for Latin men to not have to check in like American couples do in the modern age of like that kind of thing. Like, it's just not usually a thing where where men feel like they have to get someone's approval in that way. It's just, I'm not saying he goes on trips, but it's not so weird to think that someone would just go have breakfast with someone. Now, maybe because they're in New York and she's like, why wouldn't you tell me? But I think at this point, I see Manuel's personality, and it's just not the kind of like, oh, super open, let's talk about our feelings, we're one soulmate kind of thing. Like, that's not him. But I also don't want to blame him for not having that, because I do also subscribe that to a certain machismo culture norm that he grew up in and only knows, you know?
Yeah. I'm
So,
trying to recall like if my parents do that, but they don't. Like my dad will get up and go wherever he wants to go and not tell a darn soul.
mhm.
So like I agree with you when it comes to like the Latino men thing. My dad grew up in that culture. He's from Central America. He's not I have to A track him or B call him and say, "Where are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get a dress. I want him out." Like I'm bothering him. And I'm like, "Well, when I leave the house, now we don't do it now. Like there was an unspoken rule like when I leave the house, like if someone's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, we don't do that." And I will leave. Like we don't do that. Um, and then my it's funny because my mom asked me the last time I was home, and she's like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Mom, we don't ask each other where we're going."
Out.
Yeah, and I was like, "I'm going out. Bye." Because like, I don't want that to be held against me. Like it'll be like, "Oh, well, you were out with your friends." And I'm like, "Okay, so I can't say where I'm going unless I'm like, "Hey, I'm going here. Do you guys want anything?" Cuz I'm not going to be sent on an errand either. If I'm out, I'm out. Now, if I'm going to the grocery store and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to the store. Do you guys want anything?" Obviously, I'm going to tell you I'm going to the store because I'm open to that, and it makes sense that I would get you something from the store. But if I say I'm leaving and you want to know where I'm going, you're not going to find out. So when he gets up and I was very confused why she was so upset because I was like,
You should
it's
just,
not.
sorry, can I say one thing? I think every youngster should just be like, to go buy you presents, to go buy you surprises. Just
Yeah, like no,
you never give them anything.
I'm going out, and if
Couldn't
I
find the
was
surprises. Sorry, couldn't find them.
going someplace where you could go, I would tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was interesting that she got so upset about that, as though he doesn't know anyone in Newark. That's the thing that was weird to me. And she just feels so left out of his life in a way that I don't quite understand, because I'm like, "Oh, I need to be left out of your life a little bit because I have my own life to contend with. And when we get together, our worlds do not meld." Now, would I like to know where you're going if yes, I guess if I had a significant trying to think of somebody that I like.
It's so hard though.
Yeah. So somebody that I like. Okay, let me think of that person.
We'll be
And
here
then
for
they
years, honey.
they
We'll be
get
here for
up and they go and leave. I assume they would be going to get us breakfast. That would be my assumption. And then I would call them and be like, "Are you getting breakfast? Can
But
you
let me
bring me
ask you
this?"
this.
Mhm.
Don't think about who you don't think about this person. I'll give you a specific example. What if you were with Manuel knowing who he is now? Do you think that Manuel is getting you breakfast when he's gone?
No, I don't think he is.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you haven't been married to him and you've not dated him, but even you know that. Now, do you think that if you were with Manuel, knowing what we know about Manuel, you could get over the fact that he's from a different culture and doesn't regard female male relationships as you do? Like, can you like would you be able to get over that?
I think that I would not. I would because here's the truth. Like it's not from the same culture, but I don't go places and do things like food wise. That's why I say when I say I'm going to go to the grocery store, I let people know, because that is something to me that's communal. Like food is something that you just don't go out and get food and come back satiated or come back with said food and just eat by yourself. It's not when
Yeah.
you live with people, right? And
Yeah.
so like that part is weird. Like it's not weird that he went. It's weird that when he came back he didn't have a iced coffee for her and a
Mm.
bagel.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
what's weird. So it's like you can leave, but you come back with gifts, especially if those things are food, right? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you listen, I like that. I like that. Yeah, no, I get it. I like that too. She's so upset, you know.
She's so upset.
I also, yeah, like have they had sex at all on this trip?
Probably. I don't think that stops them. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not Rob and Sophie. And I don't understand Rob and Sophie either. I don't know that being angry at somebody would stop me from that. Like how angry would I have to be? I would have to feel betrayed for me to not at least turn around. Maybe I don't want to look at you, but you can't just we can't just get a little poke. You know what I mean? Like why would
a pouty poke?
Oh yeah, a pouty poke. You just poke it on up in the air right there. Dun 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 when the neighbors here.
No, you're making up this
Hey,
song.
hey, nope. Daddy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wondered for a second the way she described the story, and we'll move on from this because it was a short segment, but we've talked about it for long now. Was that when she was when he wrestled around and he left, he had like a phone conversation where he basically was like, "Do you got me?" Which is like, tell me or whatever. He was basically was just like was very like whatever low key about it. Was like, tell me what I mean. So at first I was like, oh, does she think that he met with a woman?
That's what it sounded like she thought, and that's weird. So that's the part I think that got him upset is like, I'm not cheating on you, girl. Like, calm down. And so he's not going to entertain her and her wacky feelings any longer because he's annoyed that she thinks that he's cheating.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm not. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. There's no reason for you to think that. Is it because I'm talking to people and you don't know who it is? Like, and that to me is dumb on her. She obviously has some pain. She has some trauma from someone cheating on her, I guess, right underneath her eyeballs. But I think I would be a little like taken aback that someone I'm with would automatically assume I was cheating on them because I'm having conversations with people that they do not know. I'm going to tell you right now, future partner, you don't know most of the people in my life. So if you need to know who every phone call is that I'm on the phone call, I can't help you with that. I can't help you with that. Okay. Like, you know. Yeah. Okay. Next couple, do you want to do Gino and Jasmine?
Sure. Like, are you gonna say something?
No, I'll let you go. I'm thinking of how I'm gonna put together
so
my thing.
Let me just set the mood, just like Gino does. Gino decides just to take one of those early morning baths, which already is like, what? But okay, no one takes a bath in the middle of the day before they go out for the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not bath time. Like, I'll tell you, there's bath rules. For me, a bath rule is obviously at night or evening night, when you don't usually have like a lot to do after that, or there's hours in between. But he's decided like at 10 a.m. to draw a bath. Now he's going to absolutely use the Dr. Teal's lavender bubble bath that also you love. Yeah, that soothe and sleep, honey. You know what it smells like. The minute I saw the Dr. Teal's bottle, I was like, Dr. Teal's! I wrote it down. Not only that, that's going to be the bubbles. And then he's procured a bath bomb. It's not Lush. Remember when I was obsessed with bath? Okay, she's gone. There was like, I'm going to say 10 years ago, like maybe when Snapchat first came out. I don't know what year we're in anymore, but that can't be 10 years ago. I don't know. You tell me. Maybe. Everyone was so obsessed with like the bath bombs. Specifically, I could not get enough of the Lush ones. And there was just something so great about getting like a $10 bath bomb or whatever and just drawing yourself a bath, throwing it in. You see all the rainbow shit, it just explodes into the most beautiful like kaleidoscope of. Listen, she's very happy. She's rose petal bath bombs, honey, and she has Dr. Teal. She's like, oh, this is what I'm doing later. She has a bath soak, and she owns stock. I don't have to tell you.
Okay, let me tell you. Your girl, I'm sure,
yes.
Your girl has been out of bubble bath for at least a week and a half.
Hold on.
I mean, out. Okay? Out, and I was like, I need to wait. I will get some. And I just really never want to be out again. I never, ever want to be out again. So I went and just bought a bunch of stuff. Now, this is almost out. This is Dr. Teal's Moisture Lavender Calming Soothing Oil that you can put in the bath or on yourself afterwards. So I'm out of that one. This is the Up and Up Epsom Salt Soak from Target.
Mhm.
Then I also have this really lovely smelling thick bar of soap.
Mhm.
Gardenia
What
is the smell.
are you going to take? Are you taking it out of that beautiful and then use a bar of
Oh,
soap like
I'm sorry.
19? Oh.
I'm sorry. This was the double one. So yes. Do I use bar soap on a washcloth to wash my skin, and then do I go in with liquid body wash? Yes.
Why? If you're
Because
using a washcloth, why? Like, what's the difference? That's why I'm asking.
just because I want to have the first one kind of strip and add some like scent and make me feel like it got all the oils out. And then I like to feel like I've put a little moisture back in by utilizing the cream, like body shower cream, whatever. And that one's just basic. Okay. That one's Kirkland. That is Costco brand. But then I will also come out and I will either use this or I will use Neutrogena. We all know the
Rain bath?
Neutrogena rain bath oil. We all know. Where if you're there, you're there. If you know, you know. Put that on, good little moisturizer. And then if I'm feeling extra, I will also use the in shower Nivea in shower thing. The only thing with the in shower one is that sometimes it makes the bottom of the tub super slick, and I live by myself and I don't want to die and have no one know where I'm at. I feel like what's going to happen is I'm going to die, and if it's on a Sunday, Chris will not know I'm dead until Friday.
Mhm.
Like so I will be dead for 5 days before
Mhm.
anyone knows
That's your fault. You know why?
because I moved someplace where I don't have anybody.
No,
Oh no, why?
you don't check in enough. You never call me. You never text me for any other important reason but this podcast. You never say hi. How are you? Not nothing.
You're right. And that is me. You're right. I don't do it to anyone though. I want you to know there's no one taking your place. Except for Cash.
I
Okay.
know. I was like,
Uh,
but okay, it's fine. But yeah, that's exactly why it's your own fault. But yeah, so basically then we get the horrible situation where she now is in the other world, like in one of her Chantel, like one of those like Chantel or what do they call it? Like I forgot
Chanel?
the name. Natori bra, you know, it's like a
Oh.
fancy bra and then a gold lame like thong. She's like she's showing off her body, you know, she's like very into it. She has two outfits. One's Miami hot pink and one is like a light green mint. Now they're gonna go look at alligators slash crocodiles, which then I had to do a deep dive. Crocodiles have a U-shaped snout and alligators have a pointy shaped snout, and they are from the same family, the Crocodilia family. That's not the name, but like it sounds like Crocodilia. But basically then this is where this is weird. It's like they're gonna go do this outdoor full like thing, but for some reason he wants to like have like a bath before, which makes no sense because in my mind I'm like, you want to have a bath, get super relaxed and fuck and then go out? Like you bath and fuck and then lay in bed and then fuck later and then have dinner. Like what are you talking about? Like it's the out of order. So then he's like, get in this bathtub, babe. He doesn't open the bath bomb. So I know it's fake because all they just have to like waste a little water. But then, honey, what he does is he puts 10 toes down on the
Mm-hmm.
foot fetish thing,
Mm-hmm.
on him having like showing off his feet or whatever, and she has to sit there and be like, those are great and thank you for this toe dance, but you know we need to like get going because it's gonna rain. And then we get the like Jasmine like, oh, I just don't want to tell him that I really can't have a baby right now because I'm so sad.
Yeah. And she's like, baby, thank you so much for your toe dance. But we have and then she's like, then she
Yes.
says, she's like, don't worry, baby. I'll suck your toes. I'll pee on you later. Okay, let's go. And I was like, oh, she just said all of that like normal.
Because it's
But
true.
I did,
And he's a cuckold. And he sits in a chair and wants to watch her get it on with anyone.
and like then yeah, she's like so excited for the crocodile, and like she says these words and we just don't know what she's saying. And it's because, and this is what I love about it, is that part of her English learning is by reading. And so
Mm-hmm.
she reads words and doesn't understand like how they're actually said because the way she's heard the word is from her own reading of it in English, which makes me go, damn, you're so much better than me. I have been trying to learn Spanish for the better part of like 25 years, you guys. And so it just makes me
Mm-hmm.
so sad. Now,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, So they get to this place and she wants to kiss the crocodile head so that she could tell people she has. And the guy thinks she is so weird. He is like, I
Mhm, mhm.
guess you could do that. And she's like, Jasmine, this Jasmine wants to do this, so I'm so excited for this to happen with Jasmine because I know she's upset. And then they
Well,
get
she
on.
used to have this best friend crocodile in Panama named Sneaky. She loves Sneaky. Sorry.
Isn't it crazy that there are crocodiles in Australia as well?
Yeah, when I did my crocodile alligator research, I was surprised.
Like,
Also, one of them is saltwater, one of them is freshwater. I think
but
crocodile. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. But that is crazy, Chris. The fact that like the same type, because
Dinosaur. It's a
yeah,
dinosaur.
but it's like it is a land, the biggest land lizard. It's just like, why it's crazy that they're in, so because there are animals in Australia that are not here. There are animals in South America that are not in North America. And so it is just so interesting that like that thing is in the same place. You know what I mean? That's like there's only giraffes one place.
They just, yeah, they it's just so funny how ancient they are. Obviously, they look Jurassic. They look like the first. I mean, like, they look like before all of us. Those were the animals, and like there's nothing more dinosaur-y looking on God's green earth than one of those things. You know,
Yes, but do you know that birds are actually the closest descendants to dinosaurs than an alligator?
all birds.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy to me.
That's a raptor, though. That's like a raptor. I mean, I believe you, but that's wild. I mean, I mean, Tyrannosaurus Rex looks just like a crocodile's like on its hind
You're
legs
right. You're right.
and bigger and doesn't have to be in the water as much.
Yeah. You
I
ain't
mean, like a
wrong.
little birdie, like a little chickadee is the same thing as. I mean, I don't know.
You ain't
A little
wrong.
blackbird.
You ain't wrong. Maybe it's the pterodactyls too. I don't know. Okay, anyways, so they have that. It's all good. She has the best time on this swamp boat. And the guy's like, you come back now, you hear? Like that, that kind of thing. And then they have a conversation where her friend has realized that she is depressed.
Hmm.
And so she tells him, she's like, yeah, baby, Alejandro, I don't know his name, says that I must be depressed. And so at
Leandro.
first, Leandro, so at first I think like, oh my God, is he a doctor? Like, did she just get diagnosed? And then when she goes on with the story, I was like, oh no, this is the friend saying, hey girl, you look crazy. Your hair is falling out. You got them clips in looking wild. You don't seem like your normal self. So that must mean you're depressed. And so she's like, baby, there's so much going on. And so he wanted to do a gift for me and, help me to go to a beauty pageant.
Hmm.
She says it's so wild that we
Yes.
don't know what she's saying.
Hmm.
I'm
I
like
agree.
a beauty pageant,
Yeah.
a beauty, and it's just like, what are you saying, my friend? And finally, we realize that she's saying pageant, and it's a workshop. It's
Hmm.
a beauty pageant workshop, and
Hmm.
she's like, but it's in Fort Lauderdale, and we expect Gino to be the cheapest motherfucker to ever roam the earth, and he's like, oh, that's not far. Who knew he knew Florida?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, we can go there and you can go to your workshop. And she's like, baby, I love you so much. Thank you so much. And she says that she has a top-notch personality.
I I I wrote that down. Obviously, when she said it, I like my brain melted. Like you just like there's moments where you're just like that something happens and it's like so wildly ridiculous that like it stopped my brain for a second. I used to have this acting teacher like that'd be like it stops your brain when this moment happens, like because we have to like I don't know, try and tell us to react to something instead of just like keep going or whatever. And it's like I don't know, God bless. But yeah, this is a moment where I had to pause and just be like, oh my God, okay, well, you're gonna have to move on from this moment, Chris. Just swallow it, take it in, whether you can marinate or understand it. It's not your just what? And I had to play now a couple of things. I loved toddlers and tiaras. Like I loved toddlers and tiaras so much that like I'm very excited about this. He doesn't have to pay anything for it. They're gonna get free advertising. But I'll tell you what part is wild. And it's one of the reasons I don't care about Loren and Alaxi or whatever the fuck it is. It's Lauren and what's that basic bitch's name we don't talk about?
Oh, Lauren and Alexi.
Yeah.
Girl, you were like Lauren and Alakla.
I'm like, whatever. I don't like her name. It's spelled with a O. That's why. It's like, how do you say that? It's like Lauren. I don't know. But basically, I don't find it amusing, and I feel like it's not great or safe, and it's fucked up to have plastic surgery and then be like, I'm so unhappy with my looks, and I'm so depressed. I think I'm so ugly. And it's like Jasmine has literally reconstructed herself. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, so sorry for this woman who hates the way she looks. It's like she has body dysmorphia, and she's been having body dysmorphia, and we're celebrating it and talking about it. It's not gonna be like, by the way, it's absolutely not going to be cured by some fucking pageant workshop because it's a mental illness this person happens. Same thing, I'd be like, yeah, Lauren's, I did literally have a watch since the first episode that her entire thing was like, I've dealt with body dysmorphia my whole life and eating disorders. I just have always hated myself. And so now I'm going to continue to hate myself by trying to fix it. But we all know that she's going to be as miserable now as she is after the surgery. And it's just so it's like, it unfortunately perpetrates this really shitty thing that women are dealing with, which is you have to look some way to be perfect, and that will make you happy, and it never brings you happiness. And so it's like kind of watching an addict be like, I need it's like another surgery, and then we have to watch them like say yes to this. So it's not responsible, and it has to be called out. So yeah, she's not gonna feel better after this pageant. I almost wish we didn't have to like, and it doesn't, she's not a normal person now that deals with all of the same insecurities that we all do, because she has a build-a-body. So it's just like there's a mental illness there. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, she really thinks this is going to help her out, and
Mm-hmm.
we do see that she eventually tells Gino. It was on next time on, right? That she tells Gino that she doesn't want to have a baby with him, or was it this
Oh,
episode?
not this episode.
Okay, so next time on, we get that. So we'll see how that pans out. Because poor Gino, he's always wanted a kid, and he's 50, and I think that's just a terrible thing that now that he's done everything, she's like, I don't want to do this thing for you, and
No, I don't feel bad for if Gina wanted to have children with a woman that is going to provide a motherhood experience that's like really supportive, then Gino has not done everything to get that. He has not vetted and found, I think, someone who has shown that they can be a mother really well. Nor does he even really care about the offspring from the woman he chose. So it's kind of like two people being gross together for the rest of their lives. I don't feel bad for them.
Okay. So let's move on to, I don't know, let's do another boring one. Nicole and Mahmoud. Girl, we see Mahmoud cry, and at that point, I'm just like, I can't say anything nice about her, because she to me has shown her true colors in the last couple of episodes. Her behavior to me has been despicable, because it's on camera, and she's been mean to him his second day in the US. So she at this point is feeling bad at the top of their segment, and she's still it's so funny. One of the gays, I think it was Jake, they made a joke and they called her Emily in LA. Like, instead of Emily in Paris, they called her Emily in LA. I was dead. Um
Absolutely.
and so she puts on her jacket and she hops in her Mini Cooper, and she starts combing the streets looking for him. She's like, this is a wild and dangerous city. He can't just walk around by himself. I'm like, bitch, do you know where you live? You know what part of the city you're in? You're in a gentrified part of the city. You're fine. He's fine. He's fine.
He's from Cairo. He's
Yeah.
like, it's not a safe city. Like, not at all a safe city. And, yeah, this man isn't, Cairo's in a safe city. So, yeah, this is a crime-ridden city, but she's going to go out and find him, like a French film noir superhero, honey. She's like in that.
Mhm.
She's like, there he is. I'm like, pull around, get in the car. It's always so funny. It's like, remember they cut it out. I'm like, did you really just scream at him? Like, you didn't walk and be like, I'm so sorry. Would you mind just listening and
Yeah.
please, but like it's just suddenly barked orders. So then he gets in the car and he does acquiesce that he's happy that she went out to go find him.
Mhm.
that he really did not feel love and respect from her, and he thought that she wanted him to leave, and so this is what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. And whatever, I don't know where he thought he was going to go, like onto the 5 freeway, honey, from Los Feliz
Who
Boulevard
knows?
with that one roll.
Giant
I
suitcase.
I
Just
couldn't, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
basically, yeah, they get back, and then he just like kind of breaks out of the car. I still think the man's probably very fucking tired, like
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
like just like he really does break down, and they both see that they both still have like love for each other. And then I mean, then like the first thing that happens, like she gets him in the house, and then she makes him tea. I'm like, where was this behavior? Where was like the making of, this man loves tea. I
Yeah.
mean, there's one thing, this man loves fucking tea. Like, like also I like try to see, it's like she put a scoop of something. I was like, what is that? Is that, I know.
Yeah.
What
Was
is
it
it?
jaggery? I wanted to know what kind of tea it was. I need to
Yes.
know what that Cairo special tea looks like. Does it have mint? Yes, it does. Is it sweet?
But is that, I
It
couldn't
is.
tell if that was like even ethnic tea. It looked like, I was like, is this like powdered chai that you like put in with some hot milk and make that kind of chai from like the
No, it had a tea
2010s?
bag in it, I think. And so that was the sugar, whatever that was. That's why I thought
Oh,
it was jaggery, which is like a sugar cane from India. It wouldn't
oh.
be
I
jaggery,
thought
but
you
it would
said
be.
like raggedy. I thought you were describing the tea as either raggedy with a J. Is what I thought
Oh
you were
no,
doing.
jaggery is a palm, like a palm sugar. So
Uh,
it's like I was thinking maybe it was the same kind of thing except for like an African version of that.
I
Anyways,
use
so
sugar cubes. Like they like Arabs love like a white sugar cube, just like, or like
uh
that's what their thing is.
okay, well, I don't know what she got him then. Yeah, so then they get to the house and the man cries. They pull into that car garage and he cries and she's like, Mahmoud, you have to understand that I love you, but I want to make you feel just as miserable as I felt in Cairo. So I'm happy you're
But why
here,
would
but
you bring your friends to make fun of me and be mean to me? I didn't. I brought them to meet you. But why would you serve them all alcohol and be a sweaty faced drunk in front of me? Because you have to learn how to be Muslim without anyone involved being Muslim with you. Because I'm not Muslim, which is like what she wants to say, but she's like, she doesn't want to say I'm not. It's like Haram, what he really wants, and I'm using that in the pity sense, which is different from the forbidden sense. And that's just my fact that I was raised as like a Lebanese Christian. I use it differently, but God bless. It feels like he so badly wants what Ashley wants, which is like the kind of like Cole soulmate situation where both in this world together. And Nicole promised him that and then reneged, right? So he
yeah.
doesn't understand that. But yeah, the other half is, one part of me is, she also like serves him like a raspberries in a bowl. And I didn't know if that was like, in my mind, I was like, wouldn't this be great if this is like one of her ways to cheer him up? She like puts a raspberry on all of her fingers and she's like, oh, come on, Mamu. Are you upset? Like, but she didn't do that.
Oh, you know what I want to ask you about? I want to
Right.
ask you about. I've been seeing it on TikTok. Almonds that are green. Do you know about that? Because everyone keeps telling me it's Lebanese. Like almonds, young almonds that you eat,
Oh,
and they're available for a very short period of time, and they're very crunchy. Have you had it? Is it good? Should I look for it?
What's so funny? I haven't had that. The Lebanese will also do like almonds. What they do is like fresh almonds in a nut form. Like, so no, I like a normal aged
Oh,
almond,
oh,
but in a thing. No, another. I mean, the Lebanese people love pistachios, so they're just like constantly eating pistachios. Like, Lebanese people don't want to make their lives easy by making a nut unshelled. They want to do the work of unshelling a nut. Like it's banana, that's what they do.
yeah. So you have not had the green ones. Do you know anyone who has? Has Monique
No,
had them? Maybe Nicole.
no.
Maybe okay.
Listen, when you
Maybe
come here,
Kristen Nicola.
there's a place in Anaheim called Fresh Nuts. Uh, it's called Fresh Nuts, and
Hmm.
it's unfortunate it's called that because it makes me
Hmm.
laugh, but it's
Hmm.
obviously very much indicative of what's happening there. It's
Okay.
not called D's Nuts, which would be great also,
But
but
they're only in season for a short period of time. So if you don't go now and look for them, you won't know. So can you make me that promise? Will you go look for these green almonds and then you want to squeeze lemon on them and put a little salt on them and they're supposed to be crunchy. I need you to tell me if they're good.
kind of
You're
love
my
them.
Lebanese plug. And I
I'll go to Fresh Nuts. I'll go to
thank
Fresh
you.
Nuts. If they don't have them
Jesus.
at Fresh Nuts, I'm not gonna do anything else for you to try and get them. I'll go to the one place I think
No,
they are.
I don't need I
Yeah.
can't I want you to taste it.
If they don't have them there, what am I gonna do? Go to Lebanon? Not right now.
Okay, you're right.
Um, but yeah.
All right. So that's all that happened for them. Um, So yeah, she's like, you just have to get used to it. I have to serve alcohol to people when they come to my house. No, girl, you can give them water. You can ask them if they want some water. You could even get some sparkling water, and people really like that because I offer sparkling water.
I think that even in the world of, I think that it was just not done. It was just like she should have probably prepped him a lot more than she did, and had given more care to make him feel comfortable in those surroundings at all. And maybe a little would have gone a long way if like he realizes, which is I agree with her for this. Haram for you isn't haram for everyone, and that I'm using in the forbidden way. Like what you aren't into, other people are into, and that's half of the, to me, what should be the American way. But we get a really fucked up about this is that people should live their lives in a way that makes them happy, free, as long as they're not hurting other people. And
Mm-hmm.
yet everyone wants to like push on other people like how they should live according to their own ideologies. Like that's, gay
Mm-hmm.
marriage doesn't, I don't care what the
Mm-hmm.
Bible says, what you think the Bible says about how the people should live. That makes no sense to me. Absolutely fucking not. Like, so in that way, there is an American ism to we all exist in this world. We're not a monoculture. We're not ruled. We should be a secular government, and that means that like this is not a Muslim country. It shouldn't be a Christian country. At this point, it is just a God fearing country. There is a God, and if you were like at all raised in a Judeo Christian belief, Allah from Islam is the same God of Judea and the same God of Christian. So if you wanted to say that, and we could talk about this in 100 years, like America is like in God we trust, or the fuck it is on the money, and that's it. That's all you can say. So whatever you think God told you in your book, that's what you keep in your library.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on to Patrick and Thais. It is Thais's birthday, and he goes and gets her a cake, and he says that the cake in Brazil is better than the
Moist.
cake in the US. And
I
I've
wanted it.
said, I have to go to Brazil then because
Yeah.
I must taste this Brazilian cake. And are there Brazilian bakeries in the US? Probably, but are they going to be as delicious? I don't know. So
What
there's
makes
that.
a like okay, if you're telling me that something is really moist, my first thought is obviously it's fresh, and there's also like oil butter in it.
Oil? Yeah, like that's what I was
Crisco?
thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Milk? Oil? What did they do? I need it. I need to
Lots of
figure out.
eggs,
Yeah.
applesauce?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. What is
I
it?
don't
What is
know.
it? Yeah, I need it. So yeah, he's eating the cake up and she's like, "Oh, Patrick, you eat the cake." And then that baby is just being a good baby. Just
Yeah.
left, right, up, down, looking like daddy, sitting with whomever, doesn't look too heavy. Like baby, like you know what I mean?
Doesn't look
Like
too heavy.
I was just saying some babies are heavy. Some babies are heavy, and
It's a
then you
great
have
baby.
it and you're just like, dang, you need to go sit somewhere because it's too much on my arm right now. Baby is just like, looks like you could just carry her and keep moving.
Hmm.
um
Hmm. Hmm.
and so we then have a scene where they're gonna go meet Carlos. She's very excited. She's like, my dad has never forgotten my birthday. And I was like, that is not a flex. Like the way she talked about her dad and her birthday is, it's like she's like, he's never forgotten, he's always remembered. And I'm like, so does my dad.
Hmm.
What are you
I think
talking about?
I
What
think
does
that there
that
might
mean?
there's dads that don't have that. I mean, the dad culture. We have some great dads, me and you, and dad culture is changing. But no, I there's an off there's like a sec. I'm sorry, what's the word? Hands offness that in a lot of cultures, including American, for a lot of time, dads were hands off. I told you this. I mean, this side note. This is wild. Just I'm so sorry, but let me tell you. I read the story last week and it's fascinating. Two baseball players in the 1970s, this is a true story, played for New York, which are Yankee players, or Met, I think it's Yankees. Two people on the same team have have wives and families. One night, they decide to like switch wives, swing a little bit. And supposedly, now I read this story from one person's perspective, they fall in love with each other's wives. And because it's the 70s and because these are baseball players, they really weren't around their families anyway. I guess it wasn't too hard for them to be like, you know what? Let's trade each other. Let's just take each other out of our own lives. Then we'll fill in for the other. And listen, the kids know the moms. So we'll just keep the moms with the kids. And we'll just trade lives. And that's what fucking happened. So then, like, so then they trade lives, and one couple, goes on to get married for the rest of their lives. They're married, and one dies recently, and that's what the part I'm reading on. The other couple lasts 2 months. They break up. And I read this story, and I was like, what happened to those kids? I could not. What happened to those? Your dad's just like, hey, 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 I'm out.
Yeah.
I like, the story is fascinating to me. I need to know 100% more. At one point, they said they were going to make a movie about it with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. That didn't happen.
Oh
But
my
like, yeah,
God,
dad
those
culture is
two.
different. My whole point is say dad culture is different. So yeah, I think that probably, I think it's different in Brazil. But yeah, she also think about this. Even for him, his dad left him for like years. So I'm sure there were plenty of birthdays that Patrick didn't have Jose calling him. So, and Tahiti,
Yeah.
obviously very close to her hot dad. The hot
Yeah.
dad comes up.
I mean,
Sees,
that dad had her when he was 18. Like he can't be that much older than me. He can't be. He's not in his 50s. He's in his late 40s. And she
Thais is 27 now. Thais is 27, she said.
Yeah.
So how old is he?
I mean, he had her at 20 cuz he's 47. If 47.
He's 47?
I don't think he is. I think he's 39. Like I think I am like I can't tell how old, but I mean the cojones on that man. The way he is talking down to Patrick. Am I frozen?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm listening to you. No, you're great.
Okay. The way he is talking down to Patrick is like he's in the mafia and like Patrick owes him like a dowry, and like I can't believe that Patrick asked for his hand in for her hand in marriage and he said no. And so now he wants Patrick to ask again?
Yeah, I mean, it's as hard ass as he is. The minute he sees Thais, I mean, he breaks the fuck down. Like, he breaks down. He hugs that baby. He calls the baby little Pat. LOL. Like, it must be interesting to like not like someone that your child married, and then you have a grandchild that looks just like that person. Just
It
like,
must be, yeah. But it's just the hubris on it. That he's so, I mean, it makes for good TV, obviously. And Patrick is just sitting there like Patrick, I feel like Patrick is just kind of like, I don't owe you shit. I take care of your daughter and your granddaughter better than you ever could have. And
mhm.
you say that I kidnapped her. Man, she ran to me. She ran to me. So don't come at me like I just came in and swooped in and stole your daughter away. I don't know why she didn't tell you that we were in love. I don't know why she didn't tell you everything that's going on. But for you to be mad at me like I did something is crazy when they have an amazing life and you know they do.
Mhm.
So don't tell me that I have to ask you for your hand in marriage. Is it because I don't know, is Thais sending money back to him? And so maybe that's why he's upset. Like, I don't know. It just feels really extra. It just feels really extra, his behavior towards Patrick, especially when like Thais leveled up. I don't know who she would have married in Brazil. Maybe she would have found her a nice middle class man to be able to provide for her and the children, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's also just like, it's weird to be like, I need to bless your marriage. It's like, oh, if you don't, what, this baby isn't blessed? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Like, what are you actually saying? You're saying that like we literally have a baby and we've been married for a couple of years. We're on a television show. Have you heard? So like, if I don't ask for your blessing, I can make your life fucking difficult.
Yeah.
You want to see this? You want to know this baby? But I do let but Patrick does try. Patrick even gives him like, look, now I have a daughter. Can't wait to be like, what the fuck would you do if someone came and kidnapped your daughter? And it's just like, all Patrick
He's
can
like,
do is just kind
oh,
of like smirk.
he's like, yeah, that wouldn't happen because my daughter would actually live with me, not with the other side of the family, and I would be close enough with her to watch her every move. like, like kidnapped. No, that's not what happened. I'm pretty sure Thais is sending her grandmother and her sister and the people she actually lived with. I'm sure they're reaping the benefits of whatever's happening in their household. I wish they would talk about that. I want to know if they'd give money back.
I didn't think about it, but obviously we've already talked about the fact that he is like helping his father. And his
Mm-hmm.
father, we all know, has a fucking apartment building and a ranch.
Yeah.
So, and Thais is very quick to be like, he's not broke.
Yeah.
So you're right. And I bet you can. Yeah, I do feel like he probably sends something back because I think that Patrick is a good guy.
Yeah, I think he is too. So then towards the end, he goes to drop her off because John is in town, and she gets upset because Patrick doesn't want to spend time with her on her birthday. And I'm like, is it because you don't want to spend time with John and he has to get John from the airport and take John to wherever? Like, what is it? I don't know. So we're gonna see those sparks fly next episode.
We're gonna see those sparkles fly. Sorry. Okay, we are done, but we have a lot more coming for you. Obviously, Love in Paradise is round the bend, honey, and we've been doing that Love After Lockup too. So if it's sharp, it's sweeties. No, I was kidding. I don't know. I couldn't think what to say. But here, let me tell you. Have you thought about ever supporting us on social media? What a free way to make sure that your girls, me, and moi, no, but mostly me, that because I'm there more, that you love us. So please go and like at DocuSweeties on Instagram, on TikTok. By the way, we are killing it on TikTok. Very funny reels. Thank you, Caitlin. And also thank you, Christina, for editing this. But anyway, yes, we are killing it there. Please go. We have a Twitter, but I'll probably never do that again. I think it's weird. We have a Facebook group, the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. And then if you haven't yet, please give us a little review. Like, tell the people that you need your quick fix, that this is like what it is. This is a dumb show, but we have to talk about it. And if you need to talk about it, I mean, come here for obviously the straight shooting opinions where we have absolutely no loyalty to anyone involved. We don't care about these people enough that we want to be friends with them. Matt Sharp isn't paying us. TLC isn't paying us. So we're doing whatever the fuck we want here. Anyway.
All right. If you want to help us monetarily, you can join us at patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You get a live every first Monday of the month and other goodies. So if you're interested in that, you want to support your girls more than just following on our socials, you can do so at patreon.com/DocuSweeties. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.